Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. History, Social Study. Question and answer. First, what were the social, economic, and political conditions in Russia before 1905? Answer. The social, economic, and political condition in Russia before 1905 was backward. Social condition. 85% of Russian population was agriculturalist. Industries was existence but rarely in which most of was privately owned. Workers were divided on the basis of their occupation. They mainly migrated to cities for employment and factories. The peasant communities was deeply religious, but did not care much about the nobility. They believed that land must be divided amongst themselves. Economic condition. Russia was going through bad period economically. Prices of essential goods rise while real wages decreases by 20%, leading to the famous St. Petersburg strike. This strike started a series of events that are together known as the 1905 revolution. During this revolution, there were strikes all over the country, universities closed down, and various professional and workers established the Union of Unions, demanding the establishment of a constituent assembly. Political condition. Political parties were illegal before 1914. The Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party was founded in 1898 by socialists who respected Marx's ideas. In 1903, this party was divided into two groups, Mensheviks and Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks who were in majority, were led by the Lenin, who is regarded as the greatest thinker on socialism after Marx. Second, in what ways was the working population in Russia different from the other countries in Europe before 1970? Answer. The working population in Russia was different before 1917 because not all Russian workers migrated from the villages to work in the industrial sector. Some of them continued to live in villages and went to work daily to the towns. They were a divided group socially and professionally, and this showed in their dresses and manners too. Metal workers were the aristocrats of the working class because their occupation demanded more training and skill. Nevertheless, the working population was united on one front, strikes against the work condition and employer tyranny. 3. Why did the Classicist aristocracy collapse in 1970? Answer. The Tsar first dismissed the initial two Dumas and then packed the parliament with the conservatives during the First World War. The Tsar took decisions without consulting the Duma. Large-scale casualties of Russian soldiers in the war further alienated the people from the Tsar. Burning of corpses and building by the retreating Russian armies created huge shortage of food in Russia. All of this led to the collapse of the Tsarist autocracy in 1917. 4. Make two lists, one with the main events and the effects of the February Revolution and the other with the main events and effect of the October Revolution. Write a paragraph on who was involved in each, who were the leaders, and what was the impact of each on Soviet history. Answer. February Revolution. 22nd February, factory lockout on the right bank took place. 25th February, Duma was dissolved. 27th February, police headquarters ransacked, regiments support the workers' formation of Soviet. 2nd March, the Tsar abdicated his power. The Soviet and the Duma leaders form a provisional government for Russia. The February Revolution had no political party at its forefront. It was led by the people themselves. Petrograd had brought down the monarchy and thus gained a significant place in Soviet history. Trade unions grew in number. October Revolution. 16th October, a military revolutionary committee was appointed by Soviet. 24th October, the uprising against provisional government begins. Military revolutionary committee controls the city by night and ministers surrender. The Bolshevik gained power. The October Revolution was primarily led by Lenin and his subordinates. Trotsky, and they involved the masses who supported these leaders. It marked the beginning of the Lenin's rule over the Soviet with the Bolsheviks under his guidance. 5. What were the main changes brought by the Bolshevik immediately after the October Revolution? Answer. The main changes which were brought about the Bolshevik immediately after the October Revolution, banks and industries were nationalized, land was declared social property, thereby allowing peasants to seize it from the nobility. In urban areas, houses were patronized according to the family requirement. All aristocratic titles were banned, and new uniforms were designed for the army and the officials. New uniforms were introduced for the army and the officials. 6. Write a few lines to show what you know about 1. Kulaks. 2. The Dumas. 3. Women workers between 1900 and 1930. 4. The Liberals. 5. Stalin collectivizations program. Answer. 1. It is Russian terms for wealthy peasants who Stalin believed were hoarding grains to gain more profit. By 1927 to 28, the towns of Soviet Russia were facing an acute problem of grain supplies. Kulaks were thought to be partly responsible for this, also to develop modern farms and run them along industrial lines. The party under the leadership of Stalin thought it was necessary to eliminate kulaks. Second, during 1905 revolution, the Tsar allowed the creation of an elected conservative parliament in Russia. This elected conservative parliament in Russia was called Duma. Third, they made up 31% of the factory labor force by 1914, but were paid almost half and three quarters of the wages given to men. However, interestingly, it were the women workers who led the way and strike during the February Revolution. 4. They espoused a nation that was tolerant towards all religion, one that would protect individual right against the government, although the liberals wanted an elected parliamentary form of governments. They believed that the right to vote must only belong to men, and that too the ones who were property holder. 5. Stalin believed that collectivizations of agriculture would be helping improving grain supplies in Russia. He began collectivizations in 1929. All peasants were forced to cultivate in collective farms, colos. The bulk of land and implements were transferred to the ownership of collective farm. Many peasants protested such attempts and destroyed livestock to show their anger. Collectivizations did not bring the desired results in the food supply. Situation turned even worse in subsequent years. If you like the video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe the channel for more videos. Thank you.